How y'all doing? My name is Pastor Chancey. I am the pastor of the Mount Carmel Seventh-day Adventist Church in Syracuse, New York. Black excellence. Well, I say it means a lot to me. However, if I had to boil it down to one word, I'd say achievement. I think that being black and achieving things as a black person myself is a form of black excellence. In life, it's very hard. There's many ups, there's many downs, there's many challenges or whatever. However, when it comes to black excellence, if you're always progressing, if you're always moving forward, if you're always achieving, then you are achieving black excellence, in my opinion. And so, if I had to boil it down to that one word, it would be achieving. Oh man, there's a lot of influential black people who have achieved black excellence. Personally, in my life, I would say one of those would be my father. My father, he grew up, born and raised in Philadelphia, specifically West Philly. And I remember him saying when he was a kid, he used to watch TV, and he noticed that all of the commercials were of Caucasian people. Specifically, my dad was always into flying. But again, watching TV and seeing commercials and people flying, the pilots, it was always Caucasian pilots that he would tell me. And this was back in the late 50s, early 1960s when he was a kid. And I remember him saying, it seemed like all of the Caucasian kids were always having fun, and black kids were portrayed as not having the same kind of fun. And so he always had this passion of wanting to be a pilot because he didn't see any black pilots, right? And so he was one who wanted to achieve something that he didn't really see on a day-to-day basis. And so my father, he eventually in the early 1990s, he eventually got his own plane. He had a 4-seater plane. He's got his pilot's license, all of this in the 1990s. And he's one who, like I say, close to me, achieved black excellence because he saw what wasn't there and decided to go after what he wasn't seeing and achieved it by getting his pilot's license, by being a black pilot and owning his own plane. And let me tell you, it wasn't a cheap thing to be able to purchase a plane. He bought this plane for nearly $20,000 in the early 1990s. And I had an opportunity to go up in the plane with him many, many times and to be able to steer the plane from high in the sky and stuff like that. And so my father, I believe, is one who achieved black excellence. So physical and mental health. Well, let me say this. It is very, very important to keep your mental and your physical in good health. And so a couple of things that I do is walking. I love walking. Walking is phenomenal. And I'm not just talking about walking for exercise or just, walking short walks. I love to walk, period. If I have an option of hopping on a bus or driving in a car to go a couple of miles down the road, I'd rather walk, right? And so walking to me has been something that I've always loved to do. It clears my head. It's good for me physically. So that is one of the main things I love to do, whether it's parks, whether it's in the city, it doesn't matter where it's at. I just love to walk. And I've actually walked whole downtowns of different cities, like Philadelphia, like Manhattan. I've walked from the west side to the east side. That's upper Manhattan, around lower Manhattan, and back upper Manhattan on the east side. I love to walk. Mentally, I would say as well, I love to read. I love to be able to fill my head with positive things, learn new words, learn new things about life. I love being outside in the fresh air. I love watching sunrises and sunsets. All of those things are relaxing to me mentally, physically, socially, spiritually. So those are just a few of the things that I love to do. And don't let me forget, I love driving long distance. Nothing like hopping in a car and driving across country. I've driven from New York State all the way to California. I've driven to California a couple of different times. And so driving long distance is another thing that helps me clear my head. It's good for me mentally, physically, socially, spiritually, holistically as a human being. So those are the things I love to do. I love being black. I wouldn't change being black for anything in the world. Not saying that to downgrade any other race, but I enjoy being black. I'm a 40-year-old black male. This is all I've known to be my entire life as a black man. I would say this also, that if you haven't had a chance to go to the African American Museum in Washington, D.C., and this doesn't matter what race you are, black, white, green, orange, it doesn't make no difference. You should take a trip to the African American Museum in Washington, D.C. to learn more of our history, the struggle, as well as the achievements and success of black people. And so those would be my final words that I'd like to leave you with.